it's only right we start with the most recent topic yesterday, which caught everybody by surprise. Ruben Amorim getting sacked. Now, it's it was a crazy turn of events because I mean I watched the Man United Leeds game, 1-1 draw. Leeds scored first, United equalised straight after. But then it was the post match interview after that when Amorim basically had a go saying that he's not the manager. He's not the head coach. He's the manager. And then he went on to say that he's gonna see out his contract for 18 months, and then literally 24 hours later, the board have decided to get rid of him. Now, obviously, it makes sense. We've got a Manchester United fan on the show, so
Yeah.
the first question, Faisal, is with Ruben Amorim. Like we all know, he struggled at Manchester United. That's no secret. But do you think? Actually, first question, really, were you Ruben Amorim in or Ruben Amorim out?
I was in on the condition that we see progression. And we've seen progress over the few months that he's been here. We've seen that obviously 15th last season wasn't the best position, but the way he started wasn't in the best either. We can say this season we moved up to 6th, which is a large jump from 15th. We've seen other clubs struggle to climb up the table when changing managers. We've seen clubs bounce back when they've changed managers. But seeing Ruben Amorim in the club, we've seen a change in the club. We've seen players like Lenny Yoro come in and shine. We've seen players like Cunha come in and enjoy his time at the club. And yeah, overall, I believe that Amorim's time at the club has had some form of progress, but it might not be as fast as other fans might want it to be.
Yeah. And do you think the other question I had? Do you think Amorim should have been sacked a lot sooner? Because there's a good question. Like at the end of last season, the Europa League final against Tottenham, losing 1-0 in that manner, that maybe that was the right time to find a new manager, get a replacement in, so he could implement his style. Or do you think yesterday was the right time?
How many times are we going to sack managers at this club? Manchester United in the past, excellent club. We have 20 league titles, 13 FA Cups, 3 Champions Leagues, 6 League Cups, 1 Europa League and 1 Club World Cup. And you're telling me that Amorim comes in and loses to Spurs. Spurs of all teams. That club, yeah, has no history. I'm letting you know right now, yeah? We've come in with no honour, no integrity of what we were in the past. Youth, courage and success thrown out the window. What Sir Alex has built up that everyone's saying, oh, Sir Alex is, oh, he's the king of Manchester United. He's amazing. We've forgotten what it means to be Manchester United. So much so that when we lost to Spurs, everyone's finding ways to blame Amorim, blame this, blame that. Why don't we blame the real problem, which is the club integrity itself? What is Man United? You go ask someone on the streets, what does Man United mean to you? Banter club, laughing stock. See, he's laughing right now and he's an Arsenal fan, right? But I'm letting you know, the reality of the situation is, we're lost. We don't know who we are. My dad remembers Manchester United being counter-attacking, fast-paced, controlling, dominant, strong, confident on the ball. Right now, we have Ugarte over here sipping on Caprisons and acting like a little kid watching Cocomelon, distracted, confused on what he's doing on the ball. We have a striker, Sesko, who can jump like an NBA player and have no clue of direction on how to finish. And you're telling me that I'm meant to be confident having Onana out back protecting me. Mate, listen, I've seen my little brother, 11 years old, save shots better than anyone else in the world. Yeah? If you're going to say Onana's the best keeper. This season, he's gone off to Turkey and everyone's forgetting what he did last season. Mate, he got a hair transplant and had a good one.
No, I think he definitely upgraded though. Lamens is a very good goalkeeper.
He's a good goalkeeper.
Yeah.
I'll give it to them. But the reason why we're getting better is because the club's slowly finding its way. And that's a good thing. I can't hate on that. But what I can hate on is the fans. There are Man United fans out there who listen to clips of Mark Goldbridge, who listen to clips off TikTok, and they think, okay, I'm going to have a short-sighted opinion and not look at the overall problem. We have players like Marcus Rashford who've been at the club since day one of their careers. They embody what Man United truly is. Where is he now? Barcelona. We've lost that. We have no one in that starting 11 who can say what Manchester United is apart from Harry Maguire. And Harry Maguire early on, he was just a deer in headlights. He had no clue what he was doing. But had we retained those type of players and maybe trained the likes of Garnacho or Subject 49 as is going on TikTok right now, the likes of McTominay,
Yes.
and improved on Mainu, we'd actually have a better time in the league. We'd be competing with Arsenal properly. When we play against Arsenal, we go to the Emirates, we don't know what we're doing. We go to Stamford Bridge, we're going there with the idea we're Man United, but what does that mean? We're Man United. What does it mean to be Man United? You see Barcelona, when they say we're Barca, Visca Barca, do you know what they say? What they actually mean in that? They control the ball, they control possession, and that's tiki-taka right there. When you think tiki-taka, you're thinking Barcelona. So when you think Man United, you're thinking the Chuckle Brothers. They don't know what they're doing. That is what the problem is, and we keep forgetting that. We're looking at the likes of Ollie, we're looking at Fletcher, we're looking at ex-players coming in and introducing a new style of play or an old style of play. That's a temporary solution. The problem is, when we say temporary, it's gonna go. We're gonna lose our identity again. I'd rather have someone who knows what Man United was, who's been around, whether it's an assistant manager of Sir Alex, which I really doubt that's gonna happen, right? Whether that's an ex-player who was there playing for Sir Alex, and we've had that. We've had that. And we performed well. If we can have someone who understands Man United, and I'm okay with Ollie coming back, but last time Ollie was here, his last few games are absolute horrendous. Fletcher coming in, people are saying it's going to be nepotism at his prime. His kids are on the bench right now. They're going to be in the starting lineup on the double pivot soon. I don't care who it is, as long as they can come in and understand what Man United is all about, I'm fine with it. And if it has to be a new manager, the board have to be clear, and this is the part they messed up for Amorim. They have to come in and say, you are the head coach or the manager. You can't say that you're coming in to help us envision a future. You have to set out the boundaries correctly, like a relationship. You get into a relationship, you set the boundaries firmly. So this time, we're building a manager and club relationship properly this time. You have to establish who they are, what they're here for, and how long they're here for. Amorim knew the 18 months. Amorim knew who he was. They didn't know what he was there for. And that's the reason why he got sacked.
But you know what,
Yeah.
you went on about United losing the key players that made Man United what they were. Rashford, players like that. But then didn't you say you would have kept Amorim after the improvement?
Personally,
but then Amorim got rid of the key players that made Manchester United.
And
he
that's
got rid
the
of
part
Rashford.
of the mistake that the board made. The board allowed that to happen, and they brought in Amorim with the idea that he can come in and be the manager and dictate the future of Man United. But they didn't hold that together and say, this is what Man United is. You should come and develop onto it. And it gave him the freedom to make those mistakes. And now we have those errors inside of our starting lineup. We have gaps in our starting lineup. If Bruno, which he is, if Bruno is injured for a long time and he's out for the rest of the season, let's say that happens, we're finished. That's one.
But the thing is though, I mean, you say that, but United, the board wanted to get rid of Bruno last summer. The only reason why Bruno stayed is because Amorim.
And again, it leads on to my first point, being that the club's lost its identity and we cannot hold together what we are. Both club and manager need to come together and realize what Man United is, and they need to make sure that the future keeps on to the past and we don't just start a new future. And Ten Hag's quote, errors come to an end, that right there, that's the beginning of the end right there. The end of time started when this guy came in thinking errors come to an end. He basically spat in Sir Alex's history and said, I'm doing my own thing.
Well, he got 2 trophies, didn't he? He got 2 trophies, and you should have kept him over Amorim. Amorim should have been gone after Grimsby away. The only reason why he's been sacked, he hasn't even been sacked based on results. He's been sacked based on a power struggle at United. Because he wanted more power and the board didn't give it to him. So realistically, who's going to come into Man United when it's run like Chelsea, a dictatorship? Who's going to come into a dictatorship and want to perform? No top manager is going to come to Man United. And then we'll get on to, I imagine we'll get on to Chelsea soon. Chelsea, again, now the bottom of the barrel managers. Because nobody is going to want to come into a big club and not have any power. I mean, Maresca couldn't even get his starting lineup and his subs without being controlled. I mean, that's what I heard behind the scenes. So, like, at United, the next manager is probably going to be an ex-player or a low-tier manager. What you should be going for is a Xavi. Like a proven winner, someone that's won a league title.
However, if we do that, we have to be strong and assertive that he needs to embody what Man United is, and he cannot be rewriting what Man United has to be. So there has to be a middle ground here. There has to be a middle ground. And the fans need to understand, don't just point fingers at the Glazers, but point fingers at the whole institution. Because other rival fans will say Man United is a rotten club. And we're rotten from within. Our stadium can tell you that with the rats running around on the pitch faster than Xerxes.
It looks like Arsenal are pretty much favourites to win the league after
League's done.
results this weekend.
League is done. Thank you, Chelsea. I forgot to thank you in the group chat. Thank you, Chelsea.
Yeah, no worries.
Because Chelsea have handled the league easily. It's done.
No, as a member of the London cartel, it's my pleasure, honestly. The win at Bournemouth was good, but do you think, because obviously you're playing against Liverpool on Thursday night, and Liverpool have not been the best of teams this season, we all know that, but do you think that's probably the statement win you need to sort of set your marker down as league champions for the rest of the season, or do you think it's already done, Ty?
I think it's already done, but I think Liverpool at home will be pretty routine. It'll be a pretty routine victory, judging Liverpool's form. I mean, they can't even beat Fulham. So I think we'll have them easily at home. Probably 1 or 2. 1 or 2-0. Eh?
You guys, you always say this. You have it easy, and then you bottle it towards the end of the season.
The only game I look at now, I think this is a difficult game, is City away, maybe Brentford away, those type of games. But we can afford to go to City away and lose, and we'll still be top of the league by 3 points. Yeah, like right now, if we had City away next week, we'd still be top of the league by 3 points. So I'm not fearing anyone at the moment, especially not Liverpool, because their form is poor. There's no real threat in that team. Their attack isn't all that. Their defense, I mean, Kirkes is like a headless chicken. So I'm sure Saka will have him on ropes next week. So pretty confident.
Now, Faisal, I think a big talking point at the start of the January transfer window was Antoine Semenyo, when he's going to be leaving Bournemouth, and it looks like he's going to be joining Man City. I think Man City are activating a 65 million release clause. Now, I've looked at the table, and Bournemouth, they're struggling a bit. They're not in the relegation zone or anything, but do you think if Semenyo left the club and they don't find a suitable replacement, that could be the end of their season?
100%. They're nearing the drop zone, and obviously they're ahead by a few points. But listen, when you lose a crucial player like Antoine Semenyo, your team loses structure, it loses fluidity, and that can damage a club, especially a club like Bournemouth. If that happens to a big six club, like in this case Arsenal, and I'm not saying they lose anyone massive, but let's say they were to lose a player like Odegaard at this point in time, it would affect them, but they'd be able to adapt around it quicker because they have the players of that resource. Bournemouth will struggle, and they will potentially go closer to going down than any other club in the Premier League table right now. Whether I believe that Bournemouth should go ahead and not buy any new players coming into the second half of the season, I believe that they should go ahead and buy new players. Whether they fit the same type of system that the manager wants to go into for the second half of the season, because they have to adapt now. I don't know how quick they can find someone within their scouting regimen and get someone effective to fill that gap that Semenyo leaves behind. So we'll have to see how they adapt to that.
By the way, you weren't here when Reece said Bournemouth are his title contenders.
What take is that?
This is why I was wishing Reece was here for this episode, because those were his title contenders. He said that he said that they, in his book, are going to do a Leicester. Obviously, I mean, I think he meant Leicester relegation, not Leicester title win.
I mean, I had Forest doing well this season.
Yeah. And for
look where they are now, 17th. So it's not that crazy to speak about. And I'm worried because Ange went in and got sacked quicker than Liz Truss. Now, that's crazy to say. That's crazy to say. But no, I mean, it's not crazy to think of any dark horses coming in and challenging for the title. But right now, I mean, if you look at Villa, I was surprised that they even be doing this well. 3rd, and then you look at United at 6th. But what we can capitalize on is it has been an interesting season. Sunderland especially as well.
I said this in the group chat and it got a bit of a reaction. Now the match ended.
Oh,
right?
There we go.
After, so I don't know if you guys watched the game, right? But towards the end of the game, obviously, Bournemouth had a corner. And then it got cleared, and Semenyo was about to cross the ball into the box, and that's when the referee blew for full time. Like, it got not just reaction from me on social media as well. Loads of fans and some Arsenal fans even saying how The referee should have at least allowed the cross to go into the box.
I don't work on it's but some ways. I work on absolutes, mate. Yeah. So would they have even scored if Semenyo crossed the ball in? We don't know. So the fact is that, I mean, yeah, it's not a great decision, but how many bad decisions happen in the Premier League? How many have happened to us? Like, I'm to the point where any bad decision that happens and it's not for us, I don't really care. Like, you know what I mean?
You don't care because we got the
points and we got what we need.
Yes.
We got what we needed. Obviously, it wasn't a great call by the ref, but there's plenty of bad decisions in the Prem, and they always tend to happen to us. So it's nice to have one against us. I guess that actually helps us.
I'm not blaming Arsenal at all. It's the referee who made the call, and obviously
the ref knew.
I was watching it. It's going to have been like a last-minute header or a volley into the top corner.
The ref knew Bournemouth had no attacking threat. That's why he just blew it. He knew there was no goal coming.
Okay.
You say that though, but then what was it? Creepy. He scored a really good goal to make it.
He did. But then again, they would have only scored one if Gabby didn't have a bozo moment. That was out of character. Yeah. Out of character for Gabby. But he came back and responded really well, as he should, because he is still world class. World class defenders make mistakes, but you really know if they're world class when they bounce back the way that Gabby did. So yeah.
And Faisal, what's your take on the whole referee thing?
Personally, if I was a Bournemouth fan, I'd be rattled. But as Ty said there, Arsenal are not to blame. It's not like they went and blew the whistle themselves. What happened is they couldn't capitalise on the time that they were given. You were given 90 minutes to play a game, and if you can't win the game in those 90 minutes, you can't blame anything else. There is stoppage time, but relying on stoppage time. And as a United fan, it sounds crazy to say because we are Fergie time merchants. When I speak on this, if you can't control the game properly and you rely on a whim to get a draw in stoppage time, you didn't deserve to win. You scrapped to win. That's not really any good football. It's just you trying to survive as hard as you can. And they deserve to lose that day because of that. They didn't have the mentality to go and fight for that win consistently, and they only really started complaining towards the end. Questions should be asked. Why did you concede that much to end up in that position in the first place? Why do you not create as many opportunities earlier on to allow the referee to believe that you'd be an attacking threat? Questions need to be answered. And they won't be if people keep blaming referee. I've seen worse refs.
To let Rice score two, I mean, the midfield was wide open. Like, I mean, what do you expect? Declan Rice is obviously going to capitalise on that. And he's going to bag a couple of goals. And it was like, where he bagged the brace like he did against Madrid. Yeah, baller. Although it wasn't...
and you're still going to live off that.
Although
yeah, he's still going to live off that. Arsenal managed to beat Madrid.
I will never forget that second free kick.
No, I'm convinced. I'm convinced Declan Rice was only in the World 11 based off those two free kicks.
Yeah. You know, he'll never do. Yeah. He'll never score a free kick again in his life. That's it. He's peaked.
First, I thought it was just like a joke, really. I thought it was like a random tweet that got circulated that Enzo Maresca left or got sacked, but it turns out to be true. He's gone. I think the reason why I responded so late in the group chat, because I needed time to process everything, like about Maresca leaving, because apparently he left rather than being sacked.
Yeah. He walked away from his £14 million compensation. That shows that, I mean, Chelsea's being ran like bloody Germany in World War II. That's what it seems like. Walking away from £14 million.
After that happened on the first, and obviously we had a huge game to look forward to against Man City. I mean, before the match, I didn't think we would get smashed like 4 or 5-0. I thought it'd be like a 2-0 or 2-1 loss or a 1-0 loss to Man City, and that would have been fine. Even though obviously I didn't want Chelsea to lose or anything, but I would have expected a low-scoring loss, if that makes sense. But what happened instead is we drew. Obviously Man City went ahead. Tijani Reiners, I don't know if you guys have seen the goal. It was a really good goal. Top corner, the line, and then Enzo Fernandez, right in the 94th minute, he managed to score the equaliser, which after it was actually a really good save from Donnarumma. Fair play to McFarlane though, because I heard that he actually, I don't know if you guys read it somewhere, but he used to be a manager of Croydon FC.
Yeah.
And he managed to work his way up in football, and that's probably going to be at the top of his footballing CV for a very long time.
Yeah, at the top.
Guardiola.
Yeah, played against Pep, helped Arsenal win the league. It's amazing.
Not many people love Man City. I don't like Man City. Kind of hate them. I hate them less than Liverpool. But what we know of Man City in the previous years is they can go through struggle. They can go through the shit.
Here we go.
But they'll manage to come back. They'll manage to come back. They'll manage to come back and win the league. And Arsenal will do their routine Netflix show continuation next season on Arsenal FC. We'll be back. That's what they'll tell us by the end of the season. Every single time they'll go on the same merry-go-round. Next season, guys, it was unlucky. The ball was a bit flat. The grass was a bit too wet. And the rain was a bit heavy. So, I'm telling you, Odegaard flicked his hair a bit too much and Declan Rice had to spit on the floor a bit and Saka's injured. So, it's a bit unfortunate. But listen, Man City is a well-built squad with lots of depth and lots of experience alongside youth. No centre-backs. That's
Gvardiol and Ruben Diaz gone. Yeah, Ruben Diaz gone for 6 weeks. Gvardio's gone for minimum 2 months.
Not the best option, but right now they can go in and invest if they really want to. However, we know Man City, they're able to control the ball. They managed to, in their worst ever seasons, they'll still manage to climb the table. I mean, look at them now. We've seen them do better. And we thought they were done and out of top 4. Look at them now.
Yeah.
We can't doubt Man City all the time because they have a structure which will not let them fail. They'll still manage to pull something back in the season.
If Chelsea end the season trophyless, would he be to blame or would you blame the board for that?
Well, I mean, it's hard to say would I blame him because I don't know his style of play. I've only had his team talks and they do sound like a PE teacher. I mean, Fazal, you remember back in school, it's like Mr. Wright. It's like Mr. Wright talking to us in the PE changing.
Yeah.
I mean, he doesn't seem like the strongest of characters, but we'll soon see how his tactics turn out. I was like that one.
I'm sorry. Yeah, I had to mention.
But in terms,
Right.
in terms of the club being to blame, I mean, definitely. I mean, I don't know what the leadership team, I don't know what Egg Barley's doing. If the rumours are true that he wanted to be in charge of team selection and substitutes, then what's the point in hiring a manager in the first place? Because that's insane. And I think
it's a dark.
Yeah, I think the whole of Blueco, they've come in, they've invested a lot, but they're missing key parts of how to run a football club. The signings, their age limit on signings, it's not right because you need experience in your squad. In terms of control over the club, as an owner, you don't manage every single part of the club. That's not what you do. You don't micromanage the whole club. You have to give power to people that know more than you. But I think the owners of Chelsea are too arrogant, and the director of football. I mean, they're all from Brighton as well. I don't know what the Chelsea-Brighton obsession is, but they're too arrogant to give the power to the man who knows more than any of them. Now, Enzo Maresca knows more about football than the director of football, the chief scout, the owner, definitely top owner. He knows way more about football than Egg Barley, people like that. But the ownership team felt threatened by Maresca, hence why they fell out with him and he's walked away. He walked away from a great manager who I know had 1 win in 7 in the last 7 games, but 2 trophies, you can't complain at that. I mean, he was always going to finish in the top 4, in my opinion. Now Liam Rosenior comes in. Rosenior, I don't even know his last name. Now that he comes into the club, I think we could be seeing a massive downfall here. I hope not, because actually, I hope Liam does do well at the club from an outsider view, because you like to see a manager work his way up from the bottom, from Derby County, Hull, all the way to Chelsea. But I think don't expect a trophy this season, and don't blame him if he doesn't win a trophy this season. Blame Blueco.
across the board in the Premier League, and not just Chelsea specifically, but do you think there should be like a 50-50 split in terms of how to control a club? Like the board would have 50% control and the manager does his side, or do you think should be like a 70-30 split where, I don't know, the manager has 30% control or vice versa?
I mean, we're on the topic of Chelsea, so I'll say my opinions on how Chelsea run their team as a whole. It's a dark place that you guys are in. Your club is under an American businessman who just loves to splash money at every single problem. And it creates an environment similar to other clubs right now, which are struggling, such as mine included, Man United. I believe that it can work when you have a 70-30 split. Clubs such as Arsenal, they trust in Arteta, they believe Arteta's methods, and it can work in a 50-50 split. We look at the greatest club in the world, Real Madrid, Bayern Munich, we look at them, it's a clear 50-50 split between the manager and the board. The board will come in, step in and say what they want, and the manager has to adhere to what they want.
The thing I'd say, just real quick, is that clubs are now scared of appointing managers. See, there is, like Amorim said, there's a difference. A manager runs the club inside and out. A head coach only controls the team. That's the difference. And we have given so much trust to Arteta. He's the manager. That's his job title. He's the manager of the club. He runs that club inside and out, from the youth team to the finances to the signings, all approved by him. If he doesn't want it, it's not happening. So more control needs to be given to the manager. Pep's the manager. Company's the manager, I'm pretty sure. At Real Madrid, I'm not sure if Xabi Alonso is the head coach or manager, but more managers need to be appointed.
Yeah. And I mean, it's a dark place that we're going into, and I believe that football might lose what it's meant to be. You look at lower leagues, such as League One and League Two, the managers come in, they have a distinct style of play, and they dictate the way that the club moves, and the club will just support them and back them. And when the club believes you can't guess what we want to be, they'll let go of them. But when we get to like Premier League, La Liga to some extent, the Bundesliga, Ligue 1, we get to these bigger clubs, it becomes more of like the owners of the clubs get ego of owning the franchise, and they'll want to have more of a say in areas that they don't have. I mean, Marinakis, I had to check if he's looking. Mr. Marinakis over here, right? He dang near almost assassinated Ange with the way Ange was moving on the pitch. Marinakis cannot get his hands outside of the pie, so he's going to just start feasting in there. No offense to him. But I believe that stuff like that can't keep happening. And if it happens, it will kill what we know as football today. When we talk about managers, we say managers. Who here says head coach? My mom, because she's seen it on the newsletter. Head coach isn't a term frequently used. And this just happens now because there's a battle of egos between rich investors wanting to be more than what they are. Football's losing its passion, and it's a dark place that we're going into and needs to change quickly. And Chelsea is the main culprit here with Blueco. I'm looking at you guys in particular. JP.
I mean, yeah.
No, I completely agree. Like, it's tough being a Chelsea fan, even before Maresca. With it really started with Graham Potter. When obviously the Tuchel sacking, which caught everybody by surprise at the time, and then even when Graham Potter joined the club, I knew from the moment he joined, like, he wasn't ready. I thought Brighton was his level, and I kind of knew he was going to struggle anyway. But he signed, and he had a very good start, but then it just spiraled downwards very quickly. And that's what we're seeing now. It's like, if you don't have any experienced players, I mean, like, for instance, I spoke on the show a few weeks ago. I think, Si, you probably remember this. I was watching Chelsea versus Ajax in the Champions League. And it was kind of sad that while I was watching it, I quickly realised, like, I'm older than all the other Chelsea players on the pitch. Because I'm 28, you see. And the oldest player on that pitch is 27. So that just shows, what has happened to Chelsea and things. And yeah, I'm just really hoping for the best. Obviously, I'm going to support the new manager, as I've kind of have no choice. Rosenior,
I mean, to be fair, you could be like Lee Gunner and be Arteta out before he even came to the club.
Well, like, I mean, for me personally, I'm like a very supportive Chelsea fan. There's probably other Chelsea fans that probably want him out of the door already, and that's fine. But with any manager that comes in, I'm very supportive of them and want them to see out their remaining years of the contract. So, I mean, we've seen the same story before. You know, we've sacking Andre Villas-Boas in the January transfer window back in 2012, and then Roberto Di Matteo came in midway through, low expectations,
mate.
and he went on to win the Champions League. So you never know, you never know. But
who would you want? Who would you want? Roberto Di Matteo, mate. Yeah, that clip's legendary. Yeah, but you know.
So you know.
No, sorry, I was going to say something real quick. I read somewhere that Chelsea before in 2023, before Enrique went to PSG, he had an interview for the Chelsea job, and Chelsea didn't want him because of the demands he was making, and he wanted to come in and obviously control the whole, a lot of the club, because he's a top level manager, Champions League winner. And then, I mean, that shows the mentality of Chelsea. I mean, what is wrong with these millionaire investors? I mean, why can't they just let go of the footballing side that they know nothing about and give it to an expert? Because if you had Enrique right now, you definitely would have won more than a Conference League and a Club World Cup. You probably would be competing for the league right now.
Honestly, and here's the difference between Slot and Amorim. Slot came in, and I was having this conversation with Ty last year. Slot came in, he won. He came in and made a statement, which cannot be denied. The validity of that statement is under question now, but if they were to sack him, it won't be this season. It will probably be like this time next year if it gets worse. I'm seeing the way that Liverpool wish to have their managers, and they wish to have not only just results, but also progression within the club. And the result that he brought for his first season in is enough to give him his seat. He earned his seat. Does he deserve to keep his seat? We're watching now. So we can't make the same and be like, oh, he's struggling. Because if he needs to get sacked, what about Pep? So I believe it takes some time. It takes some time to really make that judgment. I'd love to see him get sacked and they bring in Gareth Southgate and they lose the league. I'd love to see them get relegated. But in reality, we look at Amorim and we look at Slot, we see the differences between the two. And we see that Slot came in, made a statement. Amorim came in and gifted Spurs an early Christmas gift. But it's lovely to see that we have this conversation about managers, because we can't be saying that, oh yeah, they deserve to say because he's a nice guy, he's amazing. They have to have relatable feats which let them stay.
I agree with you. Slot, I mean, if he was down in 8th or 9th, then you could seriously think of pulling the plug. But he's in 4th place. Like, he's in 4th place. I think he's about 8 points off of 3rd. They're going to get Champions League football. Yes, he hasn't lived up to the standards this season at all, but there's no saying that you can't still get. You never know. He might still win a trophy. You never know how they could do in the Champions League as well. You just never know. So there's still hope in that squad. It's a good squad, and eventually he will get a tune out of him, because he is a better manager than an Amorim or Maresca. As much as I rate Maresca, he's a better manager than Maresca. So he'll turn it around at Liverpool.